Hey guys, today I thought I would just sit down and do a quick life update and also try out some new makeup. I have some new drugstore stuff and some high-end, so kind of just a mix of both. And I'll be chatting about the products as well as just filling you guys in on some things that have been going on and things that have been weighing on my mind. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started. All right, first up, let's start out with some sunscreen. This is the Eucerin Sensitive Mineral Face. It has a zinc oxide protection and it's SPF 35. It is a tinted formula, so it's supposed to work for a variety of different skin tones. I just got this pretty recently and I've really been liking it. It feels kind of like a moisturizer. It has like a little bit of a dewy glow. And I find that even though the tint looks dark when I pump it out into my hand, once I spread it on my face, it blends into my skin tone really well. And the best part is it doesn't leave any kind of a white cast. So I think if you have more of an oily skin type, I don't know if this would be a little too emollient for you. For my dry skin, it's wonderful. As you can see, it definitely gives like a lot of dewiness. So I would say those of us who are normal to dry would probably like this the most. But if you're oily and you've tried this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you feel about it. So just quickly, where have I been the last week? I actually was up in Maine on a vacation and we just got back yesterday, which was Sunday. We had such a nice time. We had gorgeous weather. It was like in the high 70s, low 80s, a nice ocean breeze in most of the places that we went. And we saw some really beautiful sights, had some lobster and some really great food. I posted so many pictures over on my Instagram stories. But yeah, it was a wonderful vacation. We had such a good time. For foundation, I'm gonna use this new one from Doll 10. They sent this to me a couple weeks ago. This is the Doll Skin Genius Serum Skin Tint. It has reishi mushroom and it's supposed to correct redness and minimize the appearance of pores, fine lines, and wrinkles for a perfect complexion. And it's supposed to be like a skincare foundation hybrid, which sounds really amazing. They did send it to me in the light medium shade, which I think might be slightly too deep for me, but this is the only color that they sent over. So I'm just gonna try to make it work. And I'm gonna apply it with my Doll 10 foundation brush from my Jen Phelps collection. So anyway, the one negative thing that happened on our trip was actually on the way home. So Sunday morning, I woke up and we were basically just gonna pack up and leave. So I put the TV on for my son, thinking he could just watch TV like while I was getting a shower and packing up. And it was on this local news station when I first turned the TV on, and it was on a weather segment and they were talking about how there were like tornado watches and warnings, basically from Connecticut all the way to Maine, the entire Northeast, and basically all the states that we had to drive through to get home. So my ears immediately perked up because I'm like, what is going on? They said there was gonna be torrential rain, like heavy downpours, thunderstorms, potential tornadoes, like tons of wind. And right away I went to my husband and I was like, maybe we can like leave later in the day because I really don't want to drive in this. He was just super anxious to get home because he had to wake up really early this morning and has like a full day of meetings. And he's like, look, I just want to get home. If it's pouring rain here, like, what are we going to do? Let's just take it slow and try to get there. So against my better judgment, we ended up leaving and he decided to drive. And I'm so thankful that he did because as we were driving, the rain was so bad, you couldn't even see like a couple feet in front of you. It was really hard to see the cars and the road. And we were going pretty slow as far as the highway goes. We were going about 45, which was the flow of traffic basically. And we were in the middle lane of a 3-lane highway. And all of a sudden we hit this puddle and like the rain just had nowhere to go. It was coming down so fast that it was pooling like all in the lanes of the highway. So we hit a puddle and hydroplaned. So basically just skidded all over into the lane next to us, the left lane. Thank God nobody was there. And then my husband like cut the wheel and then we went back the other direction, like all the way across the middle lane into the right lane. And this went back and forth several times before he was able to like get control. The whole time we're going back and forth, I'm thinking we're gonna spin around backwards, we're gonna crash. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I basically was preparing myself for a crash because it was just one of the scariest experiences I've ever had driving. And I'm so grateful that my husband was driving because I don't think I would have known what to do. I probably would have hit the brakes, which would have been a mistake. I probably would have turned the wrong way because I know when you're in a skid like that, you're supposed to turn the opposite way of whatever you think you need to do. Like, it's something that I don't think I would have had the presence of mind to do. I've never been so happy to get home from a vacation before. I just wanted to like get back to my house and be off the road. It was such a stressful ride. Even after that happened, it was just like we were white knuckling the whole way home thinking that, you know, that could happen again. For my brows, I'm just going to use the Too Faced Fluff and Hold Brow Wax. So anyway, the only funny thing that happened was after we, you know, got control of the car again, I was like, you know, breathing heavy. My heart was racing. I was like trembling and shaking. And I saw a sign on the side of the road that said there was a rest stop. And I said to my husband, like, do you need to like pull over at this rest stop for a minute? And he just started laughing. And I was like, what's funny? And he's like, did you think I just like pooped my pants? Like, why would we have to stop? And I didn't realize how that sounded, but that's the way he took it. And I'm like, no. I just thought maybe like if you were shaking like I am, that you might just need a second to like pull over and like, you know, calm down. And he's like, no, I'm fine. But we just had a good laugh over that. And it kind of added some levity to the situation. By the way, this foundation looks amazing. It's definitely a little bit too dark for me, but it looks so good. It just has a little bit of a glow. I don't know if that's maybe from the sunscreen that's underneath it, but it looks so smooth on my skin and it's not cakey. It really does seem to give that nice like airbrushed quality. It's not settling into fine lines or wrinkles or enhancing texture or pores. It just looks really, really nice. It's kind of like a CC cream sort of a texture is what I would compare it to. It just looks really nice and natural. So I love that. All right, moving on, I'm going to fill in my brows with the NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen in the shade Ash Brown. So anyway, life update that I wanted to share with you guys. I did talk about it a little bit in my Instagram stories, but I went to the dermatologist last week just for my annual skin cancer screening, which I do every year, and I think it is so important. And actually, I should back up a little bit. I did have skin cancer when I was 30 years old. I had a basal cell carcinoma on my scalp. And I realized that's kind of a weird place to have skin cancer. It's pretty uncommon, but what happened was when I was in my 20s, I used to part my hair on the side and I would part it in the same spot every day. And for a couple of years, my husband and I went on a bunch of trips to the Caribbean, either on cruise ships or just, you know, we would just fly directly to an island and take a vacation. So we were in pretty intense sun several summers in a row. And there were times when I didn't wear a hat and forgot to put sunscreen on my part. And I would get like this blistering sunburn in that area while the rest of me was fine. So then fast forward a couple of years, I'm 30 years old, and at work one day, one of my coworkers, who was a good friend of mine, he kind of came over to my cubicle and he was standing and I was sitting and he just poked my head and he was like, "What's that?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "There's a spot." But it was kind of way back here where I don't normally notice it, I guess. So he said, "There's like a funny looking spot on your part line. You should probably get that checked out." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. You know, like when I go to the dermatologist, I will." But I didn't really think anything of it. And then a couple months later, I did go to the dermatologist and I said, "You know, I think there's like a little spot here. I don't know what it is." And she said, "It doesn't really look like anything sinister to me, but, you know, I'll biopsy it, especially because it's been there for a couple months and it hasn't gone away." So it came back as a basal cell carcinoma skin cancer. And because it was on my scalp, she sent me to a plastic surgeon to have it removed. So he just basically cut that out and some of the skin around it, like just in a chunk. And he basically said, "You know, we're going to test it, make sure all the borders are free of cancer. And if they are, then you're good. And if not, we may have to go back in and do it again." So thankfully, when they tested it, everything came back as normal and they didn't have to cut anymore. So I was good to go. And then last year in the springtime, I noticed when I was doing my hair one day, because I've actually been wearing a middle part for a while now, and I happened to part my hair the way that I used to. And I thought I kind of felt something right in the part line, and it was like a scab or something. And it was a little itchy. And so I scratched it and then it started bleeding. And I thought, okay, like this is in the exact spot where my skin cancer was. So something is up with this. So when I went to her, she was like, did you injure it? Did you scratch it or something? I said, no, not that I'm aware of. I don't think I did anything. And she said, you know, it could be like a precancerous type of situation. So she basically froze it with liquid nitrogen. She just sprayed a little on the area and that basically stopped it from doing anything. And for the next 6 months, it was fine. There was no scab there was no bleeding, nothing. But then this past winter, around like January, February, it came back. And it's been kind of on and off ever since then. So last week when I went back, she took a biopsy this time and I just got the results back and it is skin cancer again. Which she kind of suspected and I kind of suspected when I was there, just because there's no reason that, you know, this area of my scalp should be bleeding, like unless there's something wrong. So I kind of had a feeling. It's not really a big surprise to me. And she said, even though they think that they got it all last time, your scalp can be tricky because there are a lot of hair follicles and all it takes is like one stray cancer cell to get down into a hair follicle somewhere where they're not seeing it. And then it just continues to grow. I mean, it took 15 years for it to come back. So it's obviously a very slow growing thing, but it's definitely not what I wanted to hear, obviously, even though I just knew in my heart that something was wrong. And I think, you know, whenever you go to a doctor, it's important to just push for them to really look at something. If you have a bad feeling or if something just doesn't seem right, you obviously know your own body the best. So in a few weeks, I have to go for Mohs surgery. So if you don't know what that is, instead of doing what we did last time and just cutting out a chunk and hoping that they get it all, Mohs surgery is like the gold standard of skin cancer removal. By the way, I just want to use this new concealer from Kokie. This is the full cover concealer. It's supposed to be smoothing and long wearing, and I'm going to be using the shade Light Neutral. This claims to be full coverage, long wearing, a smudge proof formula. It's made in Italy. And it's supposed to give you a radiant, picture-perfect finish. It sounds really good. I'm wondering if it's kind of similar to the Catrice True Skin Concealer, which I really love. It kind of seems like that, so I'm just gonna apply it with a damp sponge. So anyway, when they do Mohs surgery, instead of just doing what they did last time and cutting out a chunk and hoping for the best, what they're gonna do this time is they're just numb the area and then they remove all of the cancer that they can see. Then they take it immediately, right when you're just sitting there waiting, they take it to a microscope, they look at it right there to make sure that they got it all. And if they didn't, then they go back, they take more, then they look at that under a microscope. And they're basically just looking to make sure that all the skin around the border is free of cancer. But it's essentially gonna guarantee that they get every last cell. So it's a long process, and she said it'll probably take the better part of a day. It can take several hours because there's a lot of waiting in between while they go and look under the microscope, and you know, there's a lot of going back and forth, but I would rather just make sure that it's done. They did say that they're gonna have to shave a section of my hair. It's right here. I'm gonna have stitches for a while. I guess the good thing about it being under my hair is that I can just switch my part and kind of hide it and cover it up. This is all happening on August 15th, so that week I may or may not be posting much. I don't know what's gonna happen, but that's what's going on with that. Again, not the news that I wanted to hear, but it's not really surprising to me. I'm just thankful that it's the type of skin cancer that doesn't normally spread beyond the skin. It's not something that I have to worry about it, you know, invading or spreading into my body. It's just the type that's gonna leave a scar, but like I said, I can always just change my part. I mean, thankfully it's on my scalp and I can hide it. So I'm thankful that it's not a melanoma or just something more serious. By the way, this concealer is so nice. It really is similar to the Catrice True Skin. I'll show you guys close up really quick. I think it just looks really smooth. It's not cakey or dry looking. It looks really nice, at least so far. We'll have to see how it wears throughout the day, but so far so good. All right, moving on. I'm gonna keep my eye look super simple today. I thought we could try out these new Rare Beauty eyeshadow crayons. I bought these at Sephora And I have the shades Well-Being and Contentment. And these seem like they're gonna be so smooth. They don't look overly glittery or sparkly. They just have that really nice, refined kind of a sheen. They feel like they are super creamy. I honestly like most things that Rare Beauty comes out with, so I'm hoping for the best with these. We'll see. I'm gonna start out with the shade Contentment, which is like a bronzy color. Yeah, this is really nice and creamy. There's no drag on the lids, which is great. So I'm just gonna kind of cover my lid with this and then blend it with a brush. This is my eyeshadow brush from the Jen Phelps Doll 10 collection. Wow, this blends effortlessly too. Some eyeshadow sticks are so stiff that you can't blend the edges. This is blendable, like if you've tried their bronzer stick and how blendable that is. This is so similar. I love it. And this is like such a pretty rosy bronze shade as well. So anyway, that was my skin cancer update, and I'll be sure to let you guys know about the surgery and how it went and all of that once that happens. I'm just going to use the shade Well-Being in my inner corner and just kind of bring that a little bit back towards the middle. This is a lighter shade. I think it's going to really brighten up the eye area. So another thing that I just wanted to quickly touch on is some of the negativity that I've been getting on my channel and just kind of how it's been affecting me lately. I think I've been just incredibly lucky to get to this point and not have much negativity and not have to deal with that. All of you have been so wonderful, and I'm so grateful for that. I really feel like I have the nicest community on YouTube. You guys are just so great. But I'm just gonna line my eyes with the KVD tattoo liner. I recently posted a skincare video, and I wasn't expecting it to get that many views, honestly, but it ended up kind of going viral. I think it has almost 200K views at the moment. And that's always kind of a mixed blessing when that happens, because of course it's great to have one of your videos doing really well, but at the same time, a lot of new people show up and they're not always the kindest. So I found myself dealing with negative comments every single day. And that's going from, you know, somebody who rarely gets a negative comment, maybe like 1 or 2 a month, to just multiple negative comments every day. And I can deal with a negative comment if it's something stupid, like, you know, telling me that I'm ugly or they don't like the way I speak or whatever it is. It's like, okay, that's your opinion. You know, it's just a mean comment for no reason. But these were comments that were calling my honesty and integrity into question. And I think I just get really defensive when that happens, because I work so hard to make a channel here that is just built on honesty and telling you guys the truth, and I don't do sponsored content. And that just really bothered me. And I know that most of them, you know, were new people that haven't been here before. So maybe, you know, you could say that they didn't know, but it definitely was affecting my mental health for a while there. And I almost wanted to like turn the comments off of that video. So if you're not familiar with what happened, in the video, I talked about how I've never had, you know, Botox, fillers. I've never had any dermatological procedures. And there were many people telling me that that wasn't possible, that it's not possible to be 45 and, you know, have my skin and to not have had anything done, that my forehead's smooth, it doesn't move when I talk, even though it does. I just don't move my forehead that often, but like clearly my forehead does move. And I ended up making a YouTube short showing how my forehead does move. And even then people were like, well, no, even if you get Botox, you can still move it a little bit. And they were still arguing. So I ended up just deleting it because I felt really stupid for even creating that short, because I felt like, you know, why am I even like feeding into these people? Like I should just ignore them. And the crazy part was I was getting 2 different types of comments. The one saying that you can't possibly be 45 and not have had Botox or something. And then there were the other people who were like, you definitely look at least 45, if not more. So I had 2 very different types of negative comments going on, and it just got to be too much. So I ended up blocking a couple of keywords like Botox, 45, like a couple of different words that people were constantly using in those negative comments, just so that I didn't have to see them anymore. But I didn't want to completely turn the comments off, because there were people who had legitimate questions and I didn't want them to feel like they couldn't and ask a question, because I always love to answer comments and to read them and just know how you guys feel. So I didn't want to completely turn them off, even though some of you suggested that's what I do. So I felt like blocking some of those words was the next best thing. And really, they have slowed down quite a bit, which I'm grateful for. For my lashes, I'm going to use the new Huda Beauty One Coat Wow. They did send this to me in PR. Just to let you know, I know there are some new rules where that's concerned, where not only do we have to disclose sponsorships, but also when we get something for free. So I just wanted to let you know that. But this new mascara is supposed to be an extra volumizing and lifting mascara that's supposed to give major impact to your lashes in just one coat. It's supposed to give a lot of curl, and 96% saw instant lift and volume. So I've been really, really excited to try this. And speaking of the new rules and disclosing and all of that, I've also been getting a ton of comments lately basically saying that I'm lying about not doing sponsorships now. And again, this falls under the questioning my honesty and integrity, which I really, really can't stand. I just posted a YouTube short about the new ColourPop cream blushes, and like the first comment I got was, "You forgot to put hashtag ad on this." And I'm like, it's not an ad. Yes, I received them in PR, but that is very different than being a commercial for ColourPop. And in some ways, I think that saying that I'm a sponsor-free channel has opened me up to people kind of trying to have that gotcha moment where they're trying to catch me in something sinister or dishonest, almost like a challenge in a way. So here's one coat of the mascara. I think, wow, it really did make quite an impact. I'm gonna go ahead and just do another coat because yeah, on just about every video these days, I get somebody who comments something like, well, if you're not sponsored, then why do you use affiliate links? Or why do you accept PR? They're just extremely different things. Sponsorships are paid advertisements. The brand pays me to say nice things about their product, basically. I can't say anything negative. I have to go off of the script that they give me. PR is just free product. I'm allowed to do whatever I want with it. I could give it away. I could talk about it. I could not talk about it. I can give it a positive or a negative review. It doesn't really make a difference. There's no rules. They just send it to me, hoping that I'll mention it, but I don't have to. There's no obligation. And then when it comes to like affiliate links, I use them because it helps to pay for my channel, basically. I put almost everything that I make in affiliate money right back into the channel. I'm always upgrading my lighting, my camera, my background stuff. I'm buying new makeup to try out all the time, and that is not cheap. I spend so much money on this channel, even just like on, you know, subscriptions to my editing software and like other things behind the scenes that people don't realize that I'm spending money on. And if I didn't use affiliate links or have a way to make a little bit of money, and by the way, affiliate links is like the smallest part of my income, especially because I'm literally making pennies off of each sale. And I talk about mostly drugstore products. So if I'm making 10% of like a $5 item, like it's not a lot of money. And in a lot of cases, people aren't even buying this stuff online. They just go and buy it in person. So people think like, oh, you're an influencer, you have all this affiliate money. Not really. I would say fashion influencers make way more money than beauty influencers do. I think because a lot of people order clothing online, but not always beauty products. A lot of you always tell me you want to go and see something in store. Even if it is more expensive makeup, you want to go to Sephora, swatch things, test it out. So it drives me crazy when people are like, you use affiliate links and you get PR, and they compare that to doing a sponsorship. It is not anywhere close to doing sponsorships. And if they knew like what I was turning down every month as far as sponsorships go, I mean, it's insane. I regularly get offers like, we'll pay you, you know, $5,000 to make a video. I didn't even used to make $5,000 a month at my full-time 9-to-5 job that I had before I stayed home with my son. So when I see that kind of money in an offer, I'm still like, oh my gosh, like I want to do it, but then again, I don't, because I know what's going to happen. First, I just want to show you these new blushes. You guys actually told me about these. These are the new Honest Beauty Cream Lip and Cheek color. So these have existed for a while, but they have new colors out, and these colors look so pretty. There's a cotton candy shade that's a really hot pink. There's a lilac color that looks so beautiful. I also got the coral peach color, so I just wanted to try some of the new shades because I really love this formula. They're really emollient, so they do work on both your cheeks and your lips, but I find that on my cheeks, even though they feel a little sticky initially, they dry down most of the way, so they're not like an overly sticky blush, which I like. I think I'm gonna use the cotton candy shade today just because it kind of goes with my shirt, but I really want to try the purple one too. Should I do one on each cheek? Maybe I will. I can always even them out after the fact. But anyway, the reason that I stopped doing sponsored videos is not because of the money. I mean, honestly, it would be really nice and I could easily double my income if I decided to do sponsorships. But I feel like I'm blessed to be in a position where I don't need to do this for a job. I know a lot of YouTubers, this is their full-time job. They quit working to do YouTube full-time and they need to have that money coming in, and I don't blame them one bit for doing sponsored videos. And if I were in that position, I would be doing the same thing. I was a stay-at-home mom when I started my channel, so we were okay without my income to begin with. So I mainly started doing this as a creative outlet. I wanted somebody to talk to about makeup, you know, because my family and my friends aren't as into makeup as I am. So I just wanted to be able to share things that I found with other people that were just as enthusiastic about it as I was. By the way, this is the cotton candy shade. I'm gonna do the lilac on the other side. But yeah, that was my entire purpose for creating this channel and really my blog before this channel. And at first when my channel got big enough and companies started becoming interested in offering sponsorships to me, I did take them because I thought this is awesome. You know, I was flattered that these companies that I, had used their products for so many years and now they're noticing me, they're reaching out and wanting to pay me to talk about the products. It was like a dream come true. And I was really happy to accept what they were offering. I mean, back then it wasn't as much as now. It was maybe like $500 to $1,000, but still, I mean, for just doing one video, I thought that was really good. So I started doing maybe like one sponsorship a month or something. So anyway, here's the lilac shade and there's cotton candy. They're not super different, but these colors are stunning. They blend right into your skin so easily. I'm just gonna, I think, add a little bit of the lilac to this side and the cotton candy to this side, just so that they match, but I just wanted to show you what they look like separately. So anyway, I did do some sponsorships occasionally, but I realized that I just didn't enjoy them. I would initially be excited at the prospect of, getting paid to do it. But then once I signed the contract, all of a sudden they would be coming back and saying, oh, you know what? We actually need this in like 3 days. And I'd be like, wait a minute, I have other stuff planned, or maybe like it's the weekend and I have family stuff to do. And now I have to sit here and just create a video when I wasn't expecting to. And it wasn't just like one brand did this. They were doing it all the time. It was like almost every brand would initially tell me certain dates that were like 3 weeks out into the future. And then all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, you know what? We need to get it early to approve it. And like this person's going on vacation, or we need like extra time because we have so many coming in. So we need this like ASAP. And then I'd have to film the video, like plan it out, film it, edit it. In just a couple of days, I'd basically have to drop whatever I was doing. And this happened time and time again. It was so frustrating. And I'd always feel like I had these deadlines looming over me. And then on top of that, they're telling you what to say. You have to make sure you hit all these bullet points. And then when you give it to them for approval, sometimes they'd come back and be like, well, can you change like this or that? And it's like, no, I can't change it without refilming the entire thing, because my hair isn't going to look the same, my makeup's not going to look the same, and then I would have to kind of start from scratch and do the whole video over again, which is a multi-day process. It was just starting to feel like work. It was starting to feel like a job, and that's not why I started this channel. Not to mention that every time I did a sponsored video, it would never get the amount of views that I would hope that it would get. And people started leaving. Like I would notice a ton of people unsubscribing after a sponsored video. It just started to feel like the money that I was getting wasn't worth losing subscribers and these schedules and deadlines constantly messing with my life. Like I have a pretty busy life outside of YouTube, and it just felt like too much. And I never accepted a sponsorship that I didn't believe in. It wasn't like an honesty thing for me, because I was always honest in every sponsored video that I did. I would never do one unless I fully had tested the product and already believed in it. If there was a time when somebody sent me something and I didn't like the product, I would back out of the sponsorship and I would say, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with this. So there were times when that happened as well. So I would only take sponsorships that I really believed in 100%. But it's like viewers don't know that, you know? And I just started to feel like this isn't why I started my channel. And I just really wanted to get back to just trying makeup and talking about it with you guys and sharing the best and the worst products that I've tried and just getting back to like real reviews, you know? So I just prefer to keep everything really simple and really stress-free and just have fun with my channel, which is what I intended on doing the whole time. Next up, I just want to quickly try this new highlighter. This is the All Over Glow Tint from Catrice. They just sent these to me in PR. They're supposed to be for your eyes, lips, and cheeks. To me, they basically just look like a liquid highlighter, but they seem like they're really smooth and really glowy, so I'm excited to try these out. I think I'm gonna try the shade 20 Keep Blushing, which is a pink toned highlighter. Just gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand and probably just blend it in with a sponge. Oh wow, this is really pretty. It's very subtle. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the new Lottie London highlighters that I tried in my last video. It's not super glowy. It's not really like sparkle heavy or glitter heavy. It just gives your cheeks a really pretty sheen. It's so smooth. Wow, these are really nice. By the way, for my lips, I think I'm maybe gonna try this Cotton Candy blush shade just on my lips. I already have a lip balm on, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of this like on top. I'm doing a very all pink look today, but I think these are just like the growing pains that happen when you have a channel, and especially when things are growing at like more of a fast pace. It just seems like all the negativity comes in, and it can definitely dampen the excitement that I feel as far as my channel growing. Sometimes I just feel like I just wish it would stay small and I just had my nice community of people who are kind and who understand what I'm trying to do here, rather than, you know, these new people that come in and just feel like they have something mean to say or something negative to say. So like I said before, channel growth can be kind of a mixed blessing, but I think the trick is to just focus on the positive side of things, and that I still have overwhelmingly a positive audience and so many of you who are so supportive and so wonderful. And I thank you guys just for being here and for always hanging out with me. So anyway, guys, I think this is the finished look. Like I said, very simple, same color on eyes and lips. I feel like the eyeshadow crayons from Rare Beauty are so nice. I hope that she expands the line and makes some additional colors, but I love the way that they came out. They just give the most beautiful sheen. The Huda Beauty mascara, I didn't really talk about it much as I was putting it on, but it's definitely like a slightly thicker formula. It's a little bit more on the dry side, and it can get clumpy if you apply too much. So I really just did 2 coats, and I feel like it gave my lashes a lot of volume and quite a bit of length as well. I'll have to just update you guys down below and let you know if it smudges on me. It's very humid here, so I'll definitely put it to a good test when I go out today. So I'll be sure to leave all the updates either in the description box or in a pinned comment. And I just want to thank you all for being here, for listening, for letting me ramble. I don't do this all that often, and I don't talk about my personal life all that much, but I do like to give you updates every once in a while if there's something going on. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.